Welcome everybody to Denny Grimes. It is Friday the 13th. Welcome to Denny Grimes Mastery Real Estate. And if you're here live, great. Let's fun. Let's learn something. Let's get better. If you're watching by YouTube, recorded, if you want to get a hold of me, it's coachdennygrimes@gmail.com. And really fast, I'm talking to a group here that we were pretty close. We're the same sort of group. This is our hour, and I'm going to go back. I could actually go back and tell you what year it was because Friday the 13th only happened so often. If you have not had a defining moment in your real estate career, if you're at it long enough, you will. I've had a couple. One of them happened on a Friday the 13th, probably 20, maybe 25 years ago, where I worked for a developer. I was their number one salesperson. They walked in one day and said, "Denny, we don't need you anymore." And I believe that I'm a man of faith and things happen for a reason. It's not like I, beat up anyone or was cheating. It was just like one of those things. And I remember going to the gym the following day and hanging my clothes up on this little rack they had. And there was this guy who had to be a mechanic because he had a blue shirt on with a circle and his name was Scott. He had to be a mechanic somewhere. I thought, man, I hope I don't have to do that. Let me tell you something. Life will basically be like a mule. It might kick you. However, things will be good for you if you let it play out. And we teach this all the time in Keller Williams Bold. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So speaking of learning, let's get into learning now. We practice, you guys, question-based, listening enhanced conversations. So everything is question-based. We follow a couple basic rules. Number one, we always come from integrity. We never lie. Number two, we never predict the future. And probably number three, we never want to sound like a salesperson. We want to sound like somebody who cares about who we're talking to. So I don't have an agenda. This is your class. I want to help you get better at conversations. I'm assuming you make your outbound calls at the table. That's what I'm the best at. We have Matt on Recon. And speaking of Recon, if you have not been on Recon, we do this on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. And speaking of daily basis, we will have Recon. No, we will have Mastery. Next week, I'll be in Alaska. That'll be okay. Christmas week, I will be on Mastery, I think. I don't think we'll be interrupted Mastery. I know you might have things going on. However, I just don't want to mess with the momentum. So who would like to go first on wanting to get better? This is where I'm allowed to. We've got an hour. I can pull out my little polishing cloth and we can dig deeper into your conversations. Who's first? Why don't you try to stump me? No one ever tries to stump me anymore. I feel left out.
I'll go.
All right, Maria. How are you? All right, what do you want to do?
I want to continue what we were doing today, offering the buyer's agent commission.
Got it. You want to be the agent or the buyer?
I want to be the buyer. Actually, as the agent, sorry.
Okay. I'll be the buyer then. We're at the table. My objection is, hey, listen, I know there's a lot of, there's all this news out there that I don't have to, I'm the buyer. That we're supposed to be paying fees. I'm not paying fees. The last time I bought a house, I didn't pay the fee. I am not paying the commission.
I completely understand your concern, Mr. Buyer. Let me ask you this. If you were to list your home tomorrow and you had a choice between having 5 different offers and one offer, what would you choose?
Well, I'm glad we're in Mastery. I want to see if I can't get this stupid thing to work. I don't know when I do this call that my screen doesn't pop up. First of all, there is the model. And Tanner, I don't know, maybe you can do this or somebody who can chat, put it in the chat. The model is acknowledge, isolate, answer, close. Oh, yeah.
Other than the commission, paying the buyer's agent commission, is there anything else that concerns you?
Right, that's the isolation. Let's go back. Now make the other statement. Make the statement you made once before.
Would you rather have 1 offer or 5 offers on your property?
So why? All right, so I'm going to step out of role play just a minute, and this is where I think I can help you. Why would you say that?
Because you have a bigger pool of buyers, therefore you might have more. Well, I guess I see what you're saying. They might not get 5 offers.
Well, okay, that's number one. So if you set an expectation of multiple offers, then it doesn't happen. So let me ask the people that have been on my call that basically are my disciples. Multiple offers only happen in one scenario. What is it?
Price below market.
That's it. It does not matter what market you're in. It does not matter pre or post holidays, pre or post election. If you're selling $100 bill for less than $100, you will have bidders. If you're selling $100 bill for over $100, you will not have bidders, correct? Will someone please have a dialogue with me if you think real estate's any different? This is the fundamental thesis of understanding the efficiency of real estate that will make you bulletproof in a listing presentation. So the reason I'm pushing back a little bit, and I really wish my screen would work, but I don't know why it doesn't. I don't want you going out there promising sellers and scaring sellers that if they don't offer a compensation, they won't get their price. So let's have a conversation. Is there anyone who questions that? I didn't say that right. Compensation is not required to sell a home. It's not. There's a lot of homes that are on the market right now, you guys, that offer compensation and are not selling. Why?
Nice.
We have developers that just come out. This one condo, we have a condo community down in our area on the water. They're having a hard time selling. So they offered a bonus. Has anyone ever seen in your marketplace where the seller, could be a builder, could be an individual seller, offers a bonus to the buyer's agent? Right? What are they saying? Hey, listen, if you can sell my $100 bill for $103, I'll give you an extra $1. What's wrong with that picture? So let's get back to the role play. You're going to follow the model. You acknowledge, I understand. Other than that, twins, write down those words. Other than that, any other reason keeping us from doing business? No. All right, now go back to the role play, Maria. And how are things in Colorado? You got any snow out there yet?
Yeah.
What if I say, all right,
Okay.
why do you think compensation, how do you think compensation could benefit you as a seller, providing compensation to the buyer's agent?
Well, I think I started as a buyer, didn't I?
Yeah.
Did I or not?
Yes, yes. How do you think? Oh, okay. I completely messed this up.
Oh, no, you're right. I was a seller. No, I'm not paying any buyer's agent fee. I read the articles. I saw that something happened with some sort of lawsuit. I don't have to pay them anymore.
All right. How do you think that's gonna affect you if you're not gonna provide buyer's agent commission?
Well, I don't have to pay a bill. That's $15,000 I'll put in my pocket.
What about
hang on, Maria? That's not a good question.
what about advertising your home? How do you think that's gonna affect advertising your home if a lot of buyers out there are working with agents?
What does advertising have to do with it?
well, you're trying to sell your home and you're trying to get as much exposure as possible, right?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm gonna list with you, but I'm not gonna pay a buyer's agent's compensation.
But wouldn't it put you in a smaller pool of buyers if a buyer is not able to provide their agent's commission?
All right, so I have a smaller pool. I'm gonna push on you hard. Okay, so the buyer pool, instead of being 25, will be 15. I only need one.
But what if there was a chance for you to get at least two? Would you take it?
Are you saying that I won't get two by not offering a buyer's agent compensation?
I'm saying if there is a chance that you could have gotten two, would you take it and
Here's
provide
my
buyer's?
question. Here's my question. Why are you harping on that with me?
Because you don't want to provide the buyer's agent commission.
So what? Why do you care?
Less exposure, it's going to be harder to sell your home.
It's not less exposure. It's gonna have the same exposure.
But what if there's a agent that's working with a buyer and they're just not going to show your home if you're not providing any commission?
Well, what is that song? Na 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. I can't sing. I don't care about them. All right. You're going down the road, it won't work with me. Who wants to take over? I'm a crabby old guy. Who wants to do it?
I'll try.
Well, you're too sweet, Jocelyn. All right, Jocelyn, let's go.
Okay.
I don't want to pay a buyer agent fee.
Okay. Other than not wanting to pay a buyer agent fee, is there any other reason why you wouldn't list with me?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you were referred to me, we're going to do it.
Okay, awesome. I have a quick question for you though. If we don't offer a buyer agent fee and a buyer has to pay their agent, how much less do you think they're going to be able to offer you on your property?
All right. So again, I'm a crabby old guy. Well, are you saying that's going to happen or it just could happen?
It could happen, you know, that's
Hey, it could happen where they're gonna pay my price without paying the fee. Let me ask you, if you had a chance to buy a car and you could buy the exact same car cheaper as you could across the street, would you just think, well, I think I'll just pay more because I feel like it today? Or would you try to save money?
try to save money.
So I'm trying to do that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think everyone's trying to save money.
All right, let's just change the scenario. You guys
Well,
aren't
I guess could you bring it to them as like I understand you're trying to save money, but an agent's gonna offer or an agent's gonna present an offer and it's gonna be written in the offer what they're asking you to pay for a buyer agent fee.
Are you sure that's going to happen?
Yeah.
No. Are you saying
Are
there's
your contracts might be different than ours.
no, they're not. I'm sure they're not.
It doesn't it has the section where it says who's paying the buyer agent fee.
I'm not paying it.
But in an offer, it's gonna be in there.
All right. Would that be the same as offering less than for a full price?
Yes.
Then I will counter at full price.
Okay.
Am I a
I don't
crabby
know.
old guy? I'm a crabby old guy.
You are a crabby old. If a buyer has to bring, say your property is listed at $1 million and a buyer has to come up with $30,000 or $20,000 or whatever it is, that is going to be $100,000 less that they can afford on their mortgage. So would you like $1 million offer and pay X amount, or would you like a $900,000 offer and not pay anything?
What I want to know is why are you fighting so hard on this?
Oh, just don't offer.
Sorry,
Don't offer a buyer agent.
let's change.
That's fine.
Let's change the scenario.
Okay.
You think, you show me your market analysis is worth $1 million. I want $1.4 million.
You want $1.4 million?
Yeah,
I just showed you that it's worth $1 million though.
you didn't show me it's worth $1 million. Wait a minute. We have to do some exercising here, some demons.
Okay.
Do you know what it's worth?
Based on the comps in the area, we are seeing your home valued at $1 million.
Somebody give me a more accurate way of saying what she's saying, because there's a difference.
So based on the past sales, it indicates that it at certain level, but we have to remember those are past sales, so we don't know what the future will be.
Now, I'm going to slow down here a little bit. Somebody, if you're listening, somebody tell me the subtle differences, yet huge differences in those two statements.
I don't know how much you're gonna sell your home for, but this is what I think it might sell for, but I'm not 100% sure.
Nice try. All right, anybody here a football fan? Denver's actually doing pretty good. Now, Sports Center, ESPN, the pundits get on there after Sunday's games, or the days, but Friday. So everyone now is pontificating on what's going to happen on Sunday's game, right? Everyone has an opinion. They base it on past results. They base it on present information, who's injured, who's not, and who they're playing. And they base it on the trends. So the only three things we know is past, present, and future. So what I'm saying, Jocelyn, is that and Tanner, you were about accurate on that. So if I want $1.4 million and you said, well, that's not what your home is worth, can you tell me, can any agent here tell me that the seller cannot get 1.4?
No.
No.
All right, that could happen. I mean, you could have a hole in one during the hurricane, not a
On the
strong
market for 3
probability.
years.
However, is it possible it could sell for more than $1 million, yet less than 1.4?
Yes.
Yes.
So my point is, we cannot predict what it's worth. We can only say, this is what the market is basically showing, like the weatherman. The weatherman looks on trends. It's based on the cloud cover satellite pictures. We're going to expect our low is going to be 51, our high is 78. Now that's the range. So you go in there educated and say, based on what's going on, you know, you can expect probably 950, 1.1 million 50. Okay. Is it possible? Have you ever seen properties sell more than what your quote CMA says? If that's the case, guys, and if you're tired of hearing this, just let me know. If that's the case, why are you fighting with them on price? Well, it's like God gave us this, our responsibility is to make sure it's in the range we suggest. And the thing that was kind of crazy about COVID, and I've done this 40 years, I never saw a market like COVID, is that things sold for like crazy numbers. I've seen the market go down where they sold crazy low too. So handling a pricing situation because the seller has an idea how they want to position it is no different than having a conversation with a seller how they want to position offering paying buyer's agent compensation. All right, I'll tell you what, I'll stay with you, Jocelyn, one more minute because you're a good sport.
Okay.
I only want to show my home from 4 to 4:30 on Fridays.
Okay, what about that time is important to you?
Because it's in between Dr. Phil and you know, Oprah. And that's the only time I have free that you want to show my home.
Okay, I can understand that, but do you think that's gonna be a good time for buyers?
I don't care.
So do you want to sell your home or do you not want to sell do you want to let people view your home so they can bring an offer?
Yeah, they can view it between 4 and 4:30 on Friday.
Okay, sounds good.
Am I being cranky?
A little bit.
All right, who wants to take me? I'm pretty easy.
Denny,
Come on. All of these can be
Marissa, let's
handled.
go.
All of these can be handled the same way. You guys are so stuck in doing it the traditional way. You're not thinking. You're not thinking.
Seller, if you were buying a home and the only time you could see it was between when Dr. Phil is on, between 3:30 and 4, would that work for you?
If I was buying,
Yeah.
if I liked the home enough.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best to help you out with some graphics behind me. Who wants to be a cranky seller and give me a taste of my own medicine?
Can you remind me again why you wanted to get this home sold?
No.
No?
You're going to motivation, aren't you?
Always go
I
back
just
to
want to. I mean, we're not using it. We got this mountain house. You know, we thought we'd go skiing a lot, but after seeing Sonny Bono, or not, Sonny Bono crashed into a tree and killed himself. I don't want to ski anymore. Oh, here we go. All right, girls, there's the model. There's a model. Make sure you get that. So somebody, come on, be a seller and throw it at me. Let me show you how I want you to think.
I can be the seller.
All right, Jose, go.
I don't want to pay a buyer's commission.
Okay. I understand. Other than that, is there anything keeping us from doing business today?
No.
Got it. So we're going to list. We've already agreed we're going to list. We've already agreed on my fee, correct?
Yes.
Here's the way I haven't heard a great argument why this doesn't work all the time. Great, knuckle bump. Now that we've agreed to work together, can we have a conversation on what's going to happen next?
Let's go.
Write those words down. Everybody knows what's going to happen next. You go into a doctor and they're going to tell you, okay, you're going to take these pills and, you know, or this procedure, then what's going to happen next? So let me just find the right slide here. I talked about it today on Recon. Here we go. You as a seller, if you offer low to no incentives. Now, I don't call it, I haven't talked about this in the last couple, we don't call it buyer incentives. Why would you call it a buyer incentive to the seller? These are seller incentives. Tell me why that's a legitimate term. You're talking to a seller. Why is that a legitimate term?
Because buyer brings the money.
Say it again.
Because buyer brings the money.
Do you think sellers want to hear about sellers' incentives or buyers' incentives?
Seller.
Buyers.
No, they want to talk about here is the advantage to you, Mr. Seller. So these are seller incentives. So I'm going back to Jose. So let me explain to you. So we've already agreed to, I've got the listing. I've got my listing fee. Do I care? Do I care if he's offering a buyer's agent compensation? Let me ask you, do I care? Probably not. I don't care. Now, going back to Jocelyn, if my data shows the value may be $1 million, he wants to list at 1.4. Do I care? I don't care. That's his number. He might be right. Chances are he's not. However, he will learn as we move forward. I'm not attached to it. So I'll go, all right, so let me go back to the role play. I was saying, so, all right, let me explain how it's going to work. Number one, if we offer no incentives to the buyer's agent, that means the buyer has to agree to some deal for the buyer's agent. And what may happen is that buyer may not want to see your home. That buyer may tell the agent, listen, unless the seller is paying you, I don't want to see the home. I'm not paying you. So number one is that is a potential showing we won't have. Now, is that different than saying we're not going to have multiple offers?
Totally.
Yeah. The second thing that can happen is the buyer knows that you're not paying the fee. And so what they're going to do, they're going to have to pay their buyer's agent. So what they're going to do, they may make an offer on your home that stipulates that you pay it. I mean, it's no different than you like that avocado green refrigerator in the basement for your beer. They may say, I want that refrigerator, and that was your great-grandfather's, and you may not want to give it up. It becomes a point of negotiation. That is an outcome. Number three, the buyer knowing he's going to have to pay $15,000, or get this, you guys, $30,000 to the buyer's agent. So whatever offer they structure on your home, they're going to subtract it. And the last outcome is they may say, damn the torpedoes, I'm going to look at it anyway. So what I want you to know, if you're going down that road, Jose, I'm coming to you. And outcome one, they don't want to look at the home. Does that serve you or not?
No.
Outcome two, they ask you to pay it. Have you gained anything?
No.
Outcome three, they subtract it from their offer. So in essence, you're still paying it. Have you gained anything?
No.
And outcome four, they may just say that I'll look at it. So my point is we can move forward, but 3 out of the 4 outcomes are not good for you. Are you sure you want to do it? I'll stop. Talk to me about how that lands on you. You guys are deep in thought. Am I missing the mark on this?
Denny, but the last listing I took, I asked the seller, he did not want to offer anything. And I asked him straightforward, if somebody really, brought you an offer that you would be happy with, but they would ask for a certain percentage, like 1.5 to whatever it is, I don't know. What would you do? And he said, well, if the offer is good, I would consider it. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, which number is that? That's number 2. And can it happen? Can you see it happening, you guys? Where a seller, let's go back to price. A seller wants an aggressive price, 1.4, when the market's really $1 million. 1 of 3 things will happen. Have you ever, we've talked about it, have you ever seen a seller say, well, 1.4 is not working, and you're following up with them every week, and no one's looking at the home? Have you ever seen a seller change or soften on their position on price?
Yes.
Now, here's what I want you to catch and have a discussion about it, because I feel like I'm preaching. If you make me preach, I'm going to take up an offering. Change. If you have a seller that offers 0 compensation and it does not sell, Compensation won't change that.
Say that again, coach?
If you have a seller that's not willing to offer compensation, compensation won't change that. Why am I saying that?
It's price will.
It's priced wrong. If you have a well-priced listing, a buyer will buy it in spite of you offering low to no compensation. If you're offering $100 bill for under $100, and if what you're offering, so let's say they have to pay their agent $3, would they not be willing to pay $97 for your $100 bill? And they pay their agent $3?
Coach, one question. So based on scenario number 2 and what Tanner did, the seller's still gonna net his bottom line, correct? So
I'm
we
sure, I'm
basically,
sure he was focused on the net, yeah.
so we're basically going to go over these outcomes and move forward and just prepare these for future conversations in case we don't get any showings.
Well, sure. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's say that I'm not paying any compensation. You've gone over the 4 outcomes. It's 2 weeks into it, and there's no. I'm the seller. Somebody, Jose, you be the agent. I've not had any showings. What's going on?
Well, remember what the sheet that we discussed about the 3 possible outcomes, right? One of the
What are
things
they?
that happen. We get little to no showings,
Good,
showings but no offers,
excellent.
the property sells. Where do you
Yeah.
think we're at?
Well, we've only had 3 showings in a month. I would say we're probably between 1 and 2.
Okay,
And by the way, there's a form back there if you don't have it. We're between 1 and 2.
all right. So how do we go from showing them back to number 1? This is basically saying it's overpriced.
Well, well, here, this is mastery, so we're not allowed to say the P word. Use another P word. What P word do I like? Position.
Position.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change the position. Here's the important point, guys. If they're not getting it, price drives everything. So let's say we're a month into it and you've had 3 showings and you're following up with the sellers, be careful. I don't want you to be fooled that the reason it's not selling is because the seller's not offering compensation. I'm going to hold there a minute. This is real important. If it were priced competitively, would people be showing it?
Yes.
Buyers would be wanting to see it with or without an agent. Yes? So if it's not being shown, don't go to, well, let's change the compensation in MLS. Okay, the seller now agrees to pay the compensation of $50,000. Will that change showings and outcomes?
No.
In theory, no. What would the seller be better off doing?
Repositioning.
Lowering the price 50 grand. Now you're not gonna, I don't know, I mean.
Denny, do have a scenario for you. So you're going to be the agent if you don't mind. And we're like, say 10%, 15% overpriced.
Right.
It's 1 month. And in the beginning, I denied to offer compensation, and now I come back to you and tell you, Denny, it's been a month, and do you think if we offered that compensation, it would have changed? But we know it's overpriced.
All right. Well, I'm thinking here about that. Have you ever had a buyer want to see a property and you refuse to show it to them? Anybody? What if you weren't getting paid? They wanted you to show the property and you're not getting paid because that's your agreement with them. Seller's not offering compensation. Buyer's not willing to pay it. I'm that cranky buyer. I'll come back to you in a second, Tanner. I'm that cranky buyer. And Jocelyn, I want you to show me the property. You show me some others. Jocelyn, hey, look, you know what? I kind of like riding around in your van. Can you show me the home, please? I know I'm not paying. Would you show me the home?
No.
Okay. Jose, would you show me the home?
Yes.
Okay. Tanner, would you show me the home?
I would not.
And there's the guy, I don't know, your name is Sherry. You have to change your name. I've seen you on before, but your name, I know who you are, but I can't remember your name. I'm not going to have any judgment about whether you do or don't. Here's my point. If a buyer wants to see the home and you don't show it, what will the buyer do?
Find
Go
someone
to
that will.
They'll find someone to show it to them.
So
let's
did they,
go. What?
so on the buyer agency agreement, did they put 0? Because we can't show property without that.
Well, you have to, but you don't have to have compensation to show it. It can be 0.
We don't though.
I'm not saying it's good business. I'm just saying if they've signed it in a buyer agency agreement with you and you're getting paid 0, here's the issue. Now go back to your question, Tanner. Ask me that question again. You're the buyer or you're the seller.
I'm the seller. We're 15% overpriced. It's been a month, and initially I denied offering compensation, and I'm now coming back to you and said, Danny, do you think it was the compensation who prevented us from getting buyer?
Okay, good. Now there's an obvious. I'm making you mastery students, guys. There's an obvious error in that statement. What is it?
We are overpriced.
Well, that's not the mistake, but you're close.
He knows exactly how much.
Yes. How would you know you're 15% overpriced? In order to know that number, you would have to know what it was going to sell for. That's an unknown thing.
I'm like hypothetically, like we took the listing. It was.
But we don't do high. We're this mastery. This is mastery, dude. Here's how I'd say it. Clearly, I mean, if your seller's telling you you're 15% overpriced, then they're a freaking engineer or they've heard it from you.
No, I don't know as a seller. You as an agent, you understand that when you took the listing, it was overpriced.
I like that, but how would you know how much over it was?
I mean, you just know it was overpriced. Like similar homes were selling for 500. The guy's asking to sell it.
Okay, again, this is just mastering. I'm just telling you. So, hey, look, now ask me again without the percentage.
So say like you knew as an agent that
you're the seller, just be the seller. Just ask me again, no percentage.
Okay, so no percentage. So Denny, I know we talked about the numbers, but I also think, just because we did not offer any compensation, do you think that might be the reason why we did not get any buyer?
Who wants to answer that before I do? Come on, guys. I want you to get this. Who wants to take a shot at it?
Mr. Seller, do you think buyers are not coming because we're not offering compensation?
100%. I feel like, I know you mentioned that might be a good you know, that might be a factor, so I'm not 100% sure.
Remember the 3 outcome sheet that we discussed that when we put your property on the market?
Yep,
Remember 1, blah, blah, blah. Remember 2, remember 3. We're not at 3, right?
no,
Where do you think we're at?
2.
We're getting showings but no offers.
I'm
What is
sorry.
the market telling us?
I mean, I feel like, you know, it's the fee. So can we try maybe offering fee? I'm okay to give, you know, a certain percentage.
You know, the market doesn't gauge what agent's professional fee is. The market gauges what property sells at and so forth.
Now, I'll give you props, Jose. You understand the concept. Now, let me give you another way to say that with a little more polish. So Tanner, and he's right. If you're not getting showings, it's not the fee. And I'm trying to protect you guys, because if you have a seller that wants you to, all right, I capitulate. I'm going to offer, because you've been harping on, you know, maybe if we offer a co-broke, maybe if we do this, and you know what? And maybe they do that. But if it doesn't work, how do you look? There's only one thing that works all the time, and that's positioning. So I would say something like this. So Howard, let me ask you, or Tanner, let me ask you, if someone was offering $100 bill for $97, would you need, or $98, $99, would people want to buy it?
Most likely, yeah.
Well, what if we had a $100 bill that we thought, well, I've had this $100 bill since I was a kid. I think it's worth more. So Ted, well, we're going to offer we want to sell it for $105. It's not a collectible thing. It's just because I think I want to make a profit on it. And I'll pay if somebody brings me someone to buy it, I'll pay him a couple of bucks. How would that work? You see what I'm doing? I'm drawing a parallel. Help them understand value. And sometimes you may or may not like the $100 example, but people understand that. Oh, that's a commodity face value. But is there not a value people are willing to pay on a house? You know, it's not printed on the face, but again, who knows the market best between buyer, seller, and agent? Who knows the market the best?
The agent.
No, it's the buyer.
So
the
Denny,
buyer does, because they're spending their money. They research in their pajamas.
Coach, how will you transition that conversation from after going over the 3 outcome into the dollar bill scenario you presented?
All right, be the seller. It's been on the market a month. Offering compensation. Offering compensation would get attention from other agents. However, we want attention from buyers.
How do we get the buyer's attention?
Incentivize them.
Please share more.
Well, if you were a buyer, what would attract you? Your agent making more money, or you saving money?
Saving money.
So instead of maybe, and I know that I'm being counterproductive here, and I don't mean to sound this way, I'm not against co-brokes at all, because maybe 25% of my business is that. However, I think what's going to happen is I'll tell you what we'll start doing is having conversations on the buyer, why they should pay you, even if the seller doesn't. So going back to the role play, it's like, instead of offering the buyer a $50,000 commission, why don't we reposition the house $50,000 down?
Isn't that the same thing?
It is not. Great question. Great question. What happens when you lower the price $50,000, guys?
You lower the taxes.
Hey, Scott. Yeah, thanks for putting your name in there. You lower it in MLS, you lower your advertising. People that have these searches that are not even looking at it, but when you lower it, it gets more attention. So let's say that we don't lower the price. Now we're offering $50,000 for a buyer agent fee. What looks different to the buyer?
Nothing.
Now the agents get excited. They're going to call their buyer. Now they're all on board now. They want to show it. But the buyer has already seen the home, priced it what it was. And if the buyer thought it was a good value, what would the buyer have done? They would have found a way to look at the house.
Buyer's agent commission is covered. It's not in the MLS. You don't know unless you call the seller's agent. So it's like the first interest for that house is going to be the price that it's at and looking at the pictures.
Actually, that's a super point. Because if you guys don't even have buyer's agents calling you, asking you what the compensation is, that means it's not on their radar. They have no buyers for it. Excellent point, Scott.
Excellent. And the second thing is, why are we negotiating for the buyer's agent's commission? We want to sell the house, price it right, get the offer, and let the buyer's agent, negotiate on his own. You've already got the listing. If I wanted to in the beginning, before I got the listing, then I will say, let's price it right, but also let's offer a buyer's agency commission. But afterwards, after I have the listing, all I care about are offers.
Yeah, I mean, where are you located, Scott?
New Jersey.
Where?
New Jersey.
Were you in my class?
Yeah,
That's right.
in that church.
You were you were Vineland, right?
No, I was up in
Jersey City?
Bergen County, up in I don't know. That was 2 bolts ago.
All right, got it. You're familiar. Hey, Scott's spot on. And you know what? That's another great gauge I hadn't thought about. So you have a listing, and it's not published. So I'll have to think about this. If you don't have agents calling you asking you what your compensation is, what does that tell you?
Price too high. Nobody
Well,
wants
they don't have buyers wanting to see it. What does that tell you? Boom. That's outcome one. Now, all right, so let's play it forward. Now there is compensation, but they don't know what it is. Let's say you raise the compensation. Now you're offering compensation. How would they know? They would only know if they called you. And why would they call you? Only if a buyer wanted to see it. So you could be offered $1 million compensation to the buyer, yet if you get it, Scott, you hit the nail on the head. If I was giving away a teddy bear, you'd get it today. That was brilliant. All right. You guys aren't as excited as me.
Oh, no.
Jocelyn, you look too deep in thought. What's going on in your brain? Girls.
Well, the whole lawsuit thing was because it wasn't clear how much a buyer, or it's not being as clear how much a seller is paying in commissions. So, we've had the idea of telling them like, no, you don't have to offer a buyer agent's commission, but it's going to be right in the offer. So you could theoretically be paying 3%. You could be paying 2%. You could be paying 2.5%, whatever their buyer agreement says, that's what they're going to offer in the offer. That's what they're going to ask for in the offer.
The seller always knew what their commission was, right? Up front in the agreement. The thing was that the buyer didn't know that he was actually paying the commission.
So going back, do you find value in this, in having this in your forms, in your discussion with a seller that's offering low to no compensation?
Absolutely.
I don't see any other things other than those 4 outcomes. Jocelyn, do you see it? Do you have that? Do you take a picture of that?
It's very blurry.
Coming in very blurry, but I have seller offering low to no incentives. Then the buyer won't look at the property at all. Then the buyer will ask you to pay the buyer agent fee. The buyer will look at it anyway. And then the buyer will subtract from the price they're offering.
Is that any better for you guys?
Can you? Yeah, can you step away for a second?
If, I tell you what, if you guys email me, I'll send you a PDF of it. Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. And if you're watching by video, YouTube, Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail, I'll send you a slide or a PDF of it. I thought about it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. I've not known any other things than those four that can happen. That was so good. Hang on. I'm coming back. I like we talk about the 1 and 3 things. But again, I can send you, if you want this too, I can send you the PDF of this. If you can't, if it's blurry, I can send you the PDF, Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. Just put it in the subject and you'll have the PDF. Notice it's not even branded. I think an expert real estate agent, kind of like a doctor. I mean, doctors know, well, if you take this pill, here's what you can expect. This will happen, this will happen, this will happen. We don't know what will happen, but we should be the same way. There shouldn't really be an I don't know. Has anyone on this call ever been to my house? I'm here in Fort Myers. You've never seen my house.
Never.
Who would like to list my house today, right now? All right. Scott, you raise your hand. Would you please put a price on it for me?
It's the price I suggest is what a willing, able, and ready buyer is willing to pay.
That's boring. You're my listing agent. Give me a price. I want to list my house today.
I think it's $2.5 million.
2.5. Tanner, you said you wanted to list it, right?
Yes, sir.
How much?
What outcome are you looking for, Denny? What do you want?
Oh, you're trying to get cutesy, huh? List it. Come on, give me a number.
All right, I'll do 1.5.
All right. So let's put it on 2.5. Never seen it. And I don't talk about this a lot, but you guys understand that we don't list property. We list property owners. The property has nothing to do with our success. It's the owners that drive success, right? Y'all getting that?
Expand
Scott,
the
you're
movement.
puzzled.
Not if they price it, not if it's priced incorrectly.
Well,
If the buyer wants 3 million and it's really 2.5.
but the properties, I mean, you can sell a double wide in Afghanistan if it's priced right.
Okay.
What I'm saying is we list property owners. So 2.5, I put it on the market at 2.5. So Jose, you've got the 1 and 3 things. Tell me what are the 1 and 3 things that will happen at 2.5? And again, you've not seen my home. What will happen? Outcome 1 is what?
They're going to receive no showings.
Low. No, don't say no. You gotta
Low
get
to
this
no
right.
showing. Low
I'll
to no
waterboard
showing.
you guys. It's low to no showings. Say it. Say it with me.
Low to no showings.
That's right. What's outcome 2?
Outcome 2, showings but no offers.
Or maybe a low offer.
Or maybe a low offer.
Outcome 3.
Property sells.
Okay, so you've not seen my house. Scott's listed my house at 2.5 million. It's been 2 weeks, no showings. How do you handle that conversation, Scott?
Well, Denny, it's been 2 weeks. We haven't had, we've had few showings, no offers. I think it's
No
time.
showings. No showings.
No showings. What do you feel we should do to get more attention on the property?
Okay, so again, getting this into the if you want to do this the way I do it, it's like, what outcome are you at? Ask me that question.
Danny, Yeah, what kind, you remember we went through the 3 outcomes. What outcome are we at right now?
Well, we haven't had a freaking showing, Scott, so duh, we're outcome 1.
Okay, what are the buyers thinking?
Why do you care? I mean, well, I don't know. I don't have any buyers. Well, I thought you were gonna bring me buyers.
Well, I think that they're looking at your property, they're looking online, they're looking at the price, and they don't think it represents the value that you're asking for.
So when you come across like that, it sounds like you've got price reduction breath.
Oh, and I'm accusing.
Mr. Seller, what do you think the market's telling to our price?
Here's the thing, you guys, it's simple. Market update. Here's what's going on in the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Here's, new sales expired, what's under contract, marketing update. You're going to go through the marketing, and it's not so much, well, I took an ad out, did an open house. It's going to be what's going on in the internet, the analytics of the internet.
Right.
That would shock people. Then the third M is make a decision. So I would handle this. I'm going to go to you, Polina. Hey, your home is a 2.5. We haven't had any showings. What outcome do you think we're at? We're at outcome 1. What is the remedy for outcome 1?
Lowers the price.
Reposition.
Position the price.
Are you ready to reposition?
Are you ready to reposition?
I never say price. I tell the story really fast. This is you'll get a kick out of this, so don't hang up. I had a seller all the time. If you sound like every time you call, you're trying to get the price reduced, they won't pick up the phone because they don't want to get beat up on price. So I'm agnostic if they lower the price or not, or reposition. My doctor's agnostic if I take take the medicine. Be sick if you want to be sick. However, Scott listed my house at $2.5 million. I've had no showings in a month. What do you know? You haven't seen my house. You listed at $2.5 million. What do you know for sure?
I know that we're not positioned properly in the market.
Right. The market is saying no. So that's why you're always going to be right based on how the market responds to your positioning. So when you go into a listing present, let me tell you my story first. So anyway, I had this one seller that was stubborn. You ever have a stubborn seller? And I kept I didn't really know how to do it. And I said, well, look, we're gonna have to lower our price. We're gonna have to lower our price. They got sick and tired of me saying that. So I had to figure it out, and I did. Here's what I did, Scott. I said, hey, they didn't answer. I left a message on answer machines. Remember those? Hey, Scott, this is Denny. I just want to give you a quick call. I took a class at the Board of Realtors, and they were talking about some great public relations ideas, things that, PR. No, it was a class on PR and how that can help us get your home sold. So call me when you want to talk about it. Well, but in about 3 nanoseconds after I hung up, they heard the message. PR is marketing. Sellers are hooked on marketing. And they said, well, what's this PR stuff? Well, it's price reduction. I mean, you have to trick them. If you guys always are talking to them about a price reduction, they're not going to listen to you anymore. Quit harping on it. The market is saying no. Now, what happens? Okay, so what happens if you list? I'll take Tanner as a listing agent. He listed it at 1.5. It's been a month, and we've had 8 showings. All right, he would ask me, what outcome be at? Well, that's pretty good. We're probably outcome 2. Now, you see, it's like a meat thermometer. The market velocity will always let you know in real time what your position is, if it's correct or not. Now, I'm not suggesting if you get 8 showings in a month, outcome 2, it's time to lower the price, because you know what? The marketing update, basically, it might bear waiting a little bit. However, here's the beauty, and I'll let you share your ahas and let you go. Quit stressing over pricing a home. The only thing we know is what's happened in the past, what's currently going on, in the market trends. It's not our job to predict the future selling price. If they want a number, okay, 1 of 3 things will happen. And you know what? You can blindfold yourself. And if you listen to the market, you'll always be right. So did you hear anything today? Because you guys look totally like, must be happy hour somewhere. You got your hands up. What do you want to say? What ahas did you have, you guys?
Danny, I have a question.
What'd you say, Maria?
I said I have a question.
Yeah,
What if
what's
they
your question, darling?
what if they say I agree we have to reposition the price, but if we do so, then I won't have enough money for the next down payment.
Okay, then. All right, well, I'll role play this. Then okay, then what's your alternative then, Maria?
Let's stay at this price and just wait for the right buyer
Okay, and why were you moving?
because I want a bigger house.
Okay, what if the market never gives you your price? Are you planning on staying here for the rest of your life? You look pretty young to stay here for the next 90 years.
I'm comfortable where I am right now, but if there is an option for me to upsize, I will take it.
You guys, I'm totally agnostic to what she wants to do in positioning. If she doesn't want to take the medicine, I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm going to go right to her motivation, not mine. Well, you know, I want to be closer to grandkids. Well, how old are your grandkids? 7? Well, you want to get there when they're 17? Are y'all getting this? Do you see that once you get this internally, there's no more pressure? Any other ahas?
You know, Danny, one thing that I've learned, it's been very helpful, is not to take the responsibility of the price and anything else. It was, I guess, a lot of agents, when I was, you know, kind of brand new, I used to do that. I thought that it's my responsibility to worry about the price and all that. And now I don't care.
Well, it's not that you don't care, but you don't have the other responsibility. You're exactly right. It's like you're going to be my agent, Tanner. I want you to buy me some lottery tickets.
Okay.
And I want to win. Go get me some good numbers.
Oh, man, I wish I could.
All right. Thank you for being on. My intention is to keep, I'll be in Alaska. So for the next next week I'll be, next 2. Are you, I mean, Christmas week, maybe you'll be on, maybe you won't, but in case you want to be on, I will have mastery. Recon Christmas week, I think the Monday of Christmas, Recon won't be on for 2 weeks. So anyway, if you want these slides that I shared with you, Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. Other than that, it's Friday. Thanks for being on. If I can help in any way, you have my email. Great input. Thank you for playing full on. Love you, mean it, knuckle bump.
Thank you, Danny.
Happy holidays, man.